Warner Bros. Has released a 5-minute-long extended look at Aquaman, James Wan's upcoming superhero movie starring Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry. This footage was originally shown at San Diego Comic-Con, but Warner Bros. Previously held it back. With the release date now just a couple of months away, marketing push gave the whole world a fresh look at Aquaman. The first trailer was fairly divisive, with the CGI, in particular, being heavily criticized. Now, this extended look shows off some excellent action sequences, and a lot of strong character moments. James Wan is traditionally associated with the horror genre, and he's wearing his horror influences on his sleeve in this trailer. The opening shot features a snow globe of a lighthouse, a fairy tale beginning that at first feels out of place, until you notice what the snow globe is resting upon. It's the Dunwich Horror by H.P. Lovecraft. Other elements will be reminiscent of Lovecraftian horror as well. When we finally see the trench, they evoke memories of the deep ones in Lovecraft's The Shadow over Innsmouth. The fairy tale vibe continues with the voiceover, and images of an origin story that initially seems as fantastical as any Disney film. This section stresses Arthur Curry's unique position, as a son of the land, and a son of the seas. As such, Arthur's mother believed he was destined to be the bridge between those who dwell on the surface and those who live in the oceans. It's a destiny that Arthur attempts to reject after Atlantean forces come for his mother. The trailer swiftly moves on to an extended scene in the Sahara Desert, in which Arthur and Mera find the ruins of ancient Atlantis. They're walking through the remnants of a civilization that flourished 7 million years ago, before humans even walked the earth. Arthur and Mera have come here in pursuit of an ancient relic of Atlantis, King Atlan's trident, a powerful artifact that would establish Arthur as ruler of Atlantis. The quest for King Atlan's trident is actually the main plot of Aquaman. The film tells the story of how Arthur and Mera locate the trident and use it to unite the 7 tribes of Atlantis against Ocean Master. They're pursued by Ocean Master and his forces, most notably Black Manta and his group of thugs. We've previously seen photos from this scene, but now we get an in-depth look at how ancient Atlantean technology works, and just how advanced it was. As well as showcasing Atlantean technology, this clip demonstrates the humor that will run through Aquaman. It's fascinating to see Mera use her power in a more subtle way, drawing water from Arthur's forehead, but his unimpressed reaction is sure to get some laughs. The video gives viewers a first look at King Atlan's trident, in which he declares resides the power of Atlantis. It's as yet unclear just what this trident is capable of. One line is particularly interesting: in the wrong hands, it would bring destruction. That dialogue is accompanied by a scene of ancient Atlantis, with a dazzling white light blasting over the city, so it's possible that the trident itself was used to drive Atlantean civilization beneath the waves. If that's the case, Aquaman will literally wield the power to raise Atlantis, something that's recently happened in the comics. Notice that Atlan hints that the trident can be used to unite both those below and above the waves. Its power may be sufficient to allow Arthur to stand as a king among land-dwelling humans as well as the 7 tribes of the sea. We're given some more glimpses of Atlantean technology. At the same time, though, it's interesting to note that the tech doesn't seem to have developed significantly since the days of King Atlan. It feels as though Atlantean science was essentially put on hold after the destruction of the ancient city. The design of Atlantis is absolutely beautiful, a blend of comic book concepts and the sea life you find around coral reefs. In fact, it really does look as though the city is built into the side of a reef. This may well explain why Atlantis feels threatened by humanity's pollution. Rising sea temperatures and the acidification of the oceans are killing off the reefs. There's another brief shot of the film's main villain, Ocean Master, who is attempting to unite the 7 tribes in the war against the surface world. He believes that Atlantis has suffered enough because of humanity's careless ways, and that the time has come to put matters right. So far, there's been a lot of focus upon Ocean Master's comic book accurate helmet, but here we see him take it off to reveal the face of actor Patrick Wilson. Ironically, Ocean Master will himself be responsible for bringing Aquaman into the fight. As shown in both the trailer and this extended video, sends a tsunami against Amnesty Bay in an attempt to kill Arthur Curry. Realizing that his loved ones are in danger, Arthur reluctantly agrees to accompany Mera and embrace his legacy. Ocean Master's goal is to unite the 7 tribes under his rule, whether they like it or not. As we see, this leads to war, with the tribes turning against one another. It's fascinating to see how the Atlantean tribes coexist with the natural world, using creatures like seahorses and sharks for mounts. In this scene, we see Ocean Master attempting to persuade King Nereus to avert the war and take his side. Nereus is the ruler of the Sebelians, and in the comics, he and Arthur have a somewhat bad relationship. In fact, they're portrayed as rivals for Mera. The movie abandons that particular element of DC Comics canon, rewriting Nereus as Mera's father. The nearly 30-year age difference between Dolph Lundgren and Amber Heard makes a whole lot more sense this way, though the backstory change will likely upset quite a few fans who prefer comic book accuracy. This is another thrilling extended scene, showing Black Manta and his goons pursuing Arthur and Mera. In Aquaman, Black Manta will have a personal vendetta against Arthur, whom he blames for his father's death. He'll join forces with Ocean Master, a villain who looks to be terrifyingly dangerous. Arthur and Mera are forced to flee across the rooftops, with laser beams and heat blasts tearing the masonry around them. This is a very impressive scene, most notable for the effortless ease with which James Wan switches from Arthur to Mera in the long tracking shot. Notice that Black Manta's costume is designed to allow him to be a threat to Aquaman in every way possible. He's equipped for close combat, with extendable blades, but he also has projected energy weapons that can blast Arthur aside. A very comic-accurate version of the black suit scores high on comic homages. This sequence appeared in the trailer as well. Here, Aquaman and Ocean Master engage in ritual combat for the throne of Atlantis, an idea that will remind many viewers of a similar scene in Black Panther. In this case, the duel takes place in some sort of volcanic collapse pit, presumably part of the mid-oceanic ridge. Although it's quite rare, it is possible for lava to flow like this on the sea floor. The area Arthur and Om are battling in would be extremely hostile. It's impossible to guess what temperature the waters would actually be at. That said, in Aquaman, your average Atlantean is almost as powerful as a Kryptonian, so no doubt these conditions wouldn't be too problematic for the combatants. This is a particularly interesting scene, with Aquaman battling Black Manta's agents inside some sort of air bubble. It was created by Mera, and we can presume she's using her powers to keep some humans aboard this ship alive. There's absolutely no context for this scene, so as exciting as it may be, we have no idea how it fits into the larger plot. In a plot lifted from the New 52 version of Aquaman's origin, it looks as though Queen Atlanna really didn't want to go home. The extended video includes a stunning action scene in which Atlantean warriors tear through the walls of Atlanna's home, and she defends herself with all the skill and ferocity you'd expect from a warrior queen. The story of an ocean-breathing princess falling in love with a human male may be the stuff of fairy stories, but Atlanna is no mermaid. As Nicole Kidman herself observed. The monstrous creatures known as the Trench appear to be the main enemies in Aquaman, serving as Ocean Master's army. They're a ferocious race whose bodies have uniquely evolved to suit their environment, and can survive at depths that would crush even an Atlantean. Used to living in the dark ocean depths, the Trench can only break through to the surface at night, and it looks as though they're going to launch a terrifying attack upon a fishing vessel. This should give James Wan an opportunity to demonstrate his horror credentials. This extended video finally gives us a real look at the Trench in all their hideous glory. They truly are scary comic book accurate. This white building appears to be the Palace of Sebel. In the first scene, you can clearly see Atlantean technology, and on close examination, Mera's hair is visible on the central dais. The second scene, though, is far more revealing. It appears to show Arthur being forcibly brought before King Nereus, who leaves his throne to approach the young upstart. It's certainly appropriate to give viewers a brief look at a throne room while playing a voiceover from Arthur in which he declares, "I'm not a king." This creature is a spectacular addition to Ocean Master's army, a monstrous giant lobster, reminiscent of creatures actually found in the sea depths offshore Japan. It makes sense for Ocean Master to have monsters like this in his army, given that he's allied with the Trench, who dwell inside the ocean trenches. It's clear that the 7 tribes will wind up going to war against one another, and with weapons like this, Ocean Master may well have the edge. The extended look ends by finally letting us see Aquaman in his comic book accurate costume. This, really, is the highlight of the entire video. The promise that Arthur Curry will embrace the call to be something even greater than a king. He will become a hero, a true champion of justice who fights for peace between humanity and the tribes of the sea. Aquaman's trademark green and orange costume has been redesigned subtly to serve as armor, and notice that he's carrying King Atlan's trident, indicating that this is a shot from the movie's third act, or possibly even the very end. The clip ends with Aquaman striking the trident to the ground, just as Atlan himself did earlier on. From beginning to end, this trailer showcases that much difference in theme and direction from the DCU Snyderverse's dark and muted colors. Is James Wan the guy that makes Warner Brothers DC movies win over more fans than haters, which has happened as of lately? For sure, more people are praising the change and longtime fans are embracing this new direction. For us here at Movie Fever, would love for them to keep the movies coming. Thank you for watching.